Samsung introduced the Galaxy S5 at Mobile World Congress last year. It's safe to say not everybody was thrilled with its design. It's plastic and maybe not always fantastic. If you're the sort of person who's been waiting for that massive design overhaul, well, congratulations, this is your year. Say hello to the Samsung Galaxy S6 and the S6 Edge. Now, before we dig into what's new about the design, let's take a brief moment to run through what's new inside. You see, despite those design differences, they're basically identical in there. That means they both have the Exynos 7 octa-core processor, which was announced earlier this month. That's a 64-bit chipset, and it comes with 3 GB of RAM. All told, Samsung says that's going to give us a 20% boost in performance, along with a 35% reduction in power consumption, so more oomph with less juice. Meanwhile, both devices are going to support LTE Category 6 speeds where those are available, and you'll have 3 options in terms of memory to choose from: a 32, a 64, and a 128 GB model. Unfortunately, that also means there's no microSD card, so what you get is what you get. It can be weird trying to get a sense of a device's performance when you're surrounded by spokespeople, but the S6 and the S6 Edge, they ran like butter throughout my very brief time with them. I couldn't detect so much as a hint of visual lag or stutter as I was running through home pages, scrolling down websites, or jumping in and out of open applications, as well as just exploring the newer, lighter version of TouchWiz that the S6 and the S6 Edge ship with. Naturally, Samsung's overlay runs on top of Lollipop, and it's finally dialed down the gaudiness of its interface to a point where it's elegant and it seems to fit in with the flat sort of beauty that comes with Lollipop's material design. And now that I've said the word design about 1,000 times, we need to talk about how these things look. Say goodbye to plastic. It's all machined aluminum and Gorilla Glass 4 on the front and the back, sandwiching that metal body. It honestly feels a lot like LG's Nexus 4 from back in the day, which if you'll remember was an incredibly sturdy feeling device. The big lesson Samsung seems to have learned this year is that bigger isn't always better. That's why we've got a 5.1-inch screen again, just like the Galaxy S5, but also not really. It's a Quad HD screen, which means we're cramming 577 pixels into each linear inch of this Super AMOLED display, and it's frankly beautiful. Colors are rich and deep and sumptuous and vibrant, and you've got the same sort of power consumption benefits that come with the AMOLED screen. Obviously, though, the S6 Edge's screen is indeed curved, and the leaks were true. It really does spill over both of the left and right edges of the phone. Since they curve away from you and into the palm of your hands, it's not a device that's meant to feel any more immersive like the G Flex 2 was. It's really all about aesthetics and comfort, and man is this thing comfortable. It's almost like the M8 was, in that it's kind of a polished riverstone in your hand. Even in its not quite finished form, the edges, fit, and finish are breathtaking. This is not just the best looking curved phone Samsung's ever made, it's the best phone they've ever made, period. So what is it exactly you're going to pay the premium for? Well, forget about all those Note Edge applications. None of those work here. Instead, you can still use it to swipe through news and notifications, and it'll light up different colors depending on who's calling, assuming you feel like setting that up in the first place. I honestly feel a little bad for the Galaxy S6. With its flat face and its relatively conservative design, it looks like a metal and glass evolution of the S5. That's not a bad thing, but in terms of looks, it just does not hold a candle to the S6 Edge. Okay, let's take a moment to stop gushing and talk about what else is new here. Samsung has always taken their camera game really seriously, and in this case, they've tricked out the S6 and the S6 Edge with a 16-megapixel rear camera with an f1.9 lens. That means super fast response times, but more importantly, Samsung is about building an experience, and they're doing that with auto real-time HDR, so you don't have to switch modes for boosted colors, and smart auto image stabilization. When it comes time to take a photo, even the heart rate sensor gets in on the fun. The phone uses it to detect the IR levels of a situation to automatically set your white balance. That trend towards smarter photography extends into video too, and it's most notable when we're talking about autofocus, or in this case, auto-tracking autofocus. It's a feature that's been inspired by Samsung's higher-end NX cameras, and it focuses and refocuses on a subject in motion. So you could have a kid running across the field, and your phone will stay with it all the way through. Throw in support for both major wireless charging standards, a quick charge system that'll see 50% of the battery full in half an hour of charging, and improved support for mobile payments that includes magnetic stripe tech via Loop Pay that'll help you pay for stuff by putting your phone next to a reader, and you've got a pair of devices that make it very clear Samsung is playing for keeps. Now the only mysteries left to unravel are when they're going to come out and how much they'll cost, but hopefully we'll crack that